It's all about the best and brightest of Broadway each and every week here on The Broadway Show. I'm TAMSEN FADAL. I'm so glad to have you with us. We're talking about Funny Girl 2.0. Lea Michele is starring as Fanny Brice, if you haven't heard. 6 standing ovations on her first night in the part on Broadway. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
A little over a year ago,
Yep.
I saw you in the dead of summer. Broadway was not back yet.
Right.
You talked about your desire to come back to Broadway. Here we are. I can't believe only a year's passed and you are now having this huge Broadway moment, starring in Funny Girl. What a journey. Did you see this happening at that point?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's wild. A year ago, I had just moved back to the city with my family. I was still really in the thick of being a new mom and embracing that and embracing living back in New York again. And now here we are a year later. I mean, we were outside of the Eugene O'Neill Theater and I knew about the Spring Awakening reunion, but I don't think I could say anything to you at the time. And then just a few months later, when we did our concert and I stood on the, the chair at the top of the show, that's when I just felt this deep, deep, deep desire that was there, but it came to life at that moment and I said, I just would love to be back on the stage again.
I mean, we've known about your love of this role forever, and Rachel Berry's love of this role. Obviously, you did this on Glee.
Don't tell me not to fly, I've simply got to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade?
So it's very meta for all of us. Is it also for you? There was just talk about you doing Funny Girl on Broadway for years.
Yeah, Funny Girl has been a part of my life in so many phases of my life.
Yeah.
Michael Mayer told me to watch the movie in 2006 when I was going through a breakup. I was in Spring Awakening, and that's when I first fell upon. Yeah, that's how I watched Funny Girl for the first time. And then obviously, with the storyline that Rachel had, it was a huge part of my life when I was living in LA and when I was on the television show. And now here again at 36. So this role has been a part of my life throughout so many different seasons, but I've never felt more prepared, more ready to play this part than I do now.
Well, that's the thing about sometimes dreams get delayed for the right reason, right? And things happen to you at the perfect time.
Yeah, and I was very content when we decided to not do it in 2014. I was really okay. I played the part so much on Glee and sang the songs, and so I felt very at peace with it. But it really was when I did the Spring Awakening reunion again that I just felt this extreme desire to perform.
I don't know if you know, but everyone's talking about this, the fact that you are in Funny Girl on Broadway. I mean, I can tell you in my personal life, people who don't even follow theater, everyone I see has asked me about you being in Funny. I mean, this is, you're doing this under a microscope. Does it feel that way? And this is probably a first for you, because when you were last on Broadway, Spring Awakening, you were still up and coming, Lea Michele.
I'm loving living in the bubble that is the safe home and space of this theater and this cast. If I did not know and feel the support that I have from everyone, this would be very scary for me. But I've been rehearsing with everyone for a while now. The cast who works so hard has given so much of their extra time to be there for me and to help me feel as prepared as I can be for this, experience. That's where my head is at. I think if I think too much about the magnitude of this, it could be quite scary.
Well, and this might say a lot. I just had to explain to Ramin what a gleek is.
Oh my God, I know.
Which says a lot.
He said a second ago, he was like, I think I should watch Glee. I was like, my husband's never seen Glee. You don't have to watch Glee. It's totally fine.
But that says a lot about the environment that you're actually working in. You're working with theater artists on creating a role instead of like this anticipation of Lea Michele coming, with the baggage of being known as Lea Michele and coming to do a show. You're just able to work on the show.
Yeah, completely. But it is, when Ryan Murphy came to see my first night, and he was so emotional, and I really believe that there is, for me, I can't disregard, how much Glee has played a part in all of this. Ryan did bring Don't Rain on My Parade to that generation. Our song was number 6 on the iTunes charts when I sang it then.
Yeah.
And here we are now. So it's really just such a full circle moment in so many ways.
Like you said, you've performed many of the songs. We've heard you sing a lot of the songs. You've sort of lived with the idea of doing this role for a long time, but actually doing it. What is it like actually being on that stage, doing it beat for beat? Like, what's different about that experience?
It's completely different. Ryan said to me on Tuesday after the show, he said, I knew Act 1 Fanny, but I don't know Act 2 Fanny. And I said, that's so funny because I've always known Act 1 Fanny. The ambition, the drive, the energy, the blinders, I've always connected to that. But now, having lived my life and having loss and heartbreak, and deep love, marriage and a child, life's ups and downs, it's all of those experiences that I'm now bringing to this opportunity and this role. So it's completely different. It's different singing these songs live on a stage than in a recording studio. And it's completely different singing them as Fanny and it being in her shoes, not Rachel playing Fanny or singing them in a concert. And then also having, Ramin and Tova and Jared and the entire rest of the cast to play off of, to bring this story to life. Singing the songs is one thing. It's thrilling. It's incredible as a singer to be able to just plant your feet and sing these songs that are, in my mind, some of the greatest musical theater songs in the world. But to bring the story to life also, I'm literally having the time of my life. What I'm able to create with Ramin every night, I think bringing this love story to life, Fanny and Nick, and getting to sing with him, it's incredible.
So maybe Act 1 Fanny is sort of what the Glee fans are going to come in sort of ready for, but Act 2 is really what you've been able to really put your life into.
Absolutely,
and your experiences.
That's a great way of putting it.
I asked Ramin what it was like to romance you, and he said, I don't know, ask her what it's like to romance me.
It's
Are
easy.
you having fun?
He's wonderful. I haven't felt this level of trust since working with Jonathan. In order to deliver an honest and truthful performance, you have to have a co-star and a partner that is just going to catch you and is going to go there. Even in rehearsals, Ramin would just deliver a level of emotion in the performance with me that was so real and true. And he challenges me to constantly go there, and I know we're going to just continue to just have this relationship grow and have people see Fanny and Nick.
I met you when you were still a teenager.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, were you like Act 1 Fanny? Were you sort of like, hey, look at me? Did you have that energy and that fire?
Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, I got into a car crash on the way to my Glee audition, and I still stormed into the audition, pulled the glass out of my hair, and I was like, I'm getting this job today. Fanny would do the exact same thing. And that's something that I really wanted when I saw the production. I spoke to Michael about what things that I wanted to change. Like Greatest Star was really important to me to, change the movement and have Fanny climb on the piano and jump around, because in order for me to express my extreme desire and determination, I have to do that totally physically. So I very much have, can relate to that. I'm a little older now, as Fanny says. So I actually had to, remember that feeling of being, just young and desperate, and looking at everyone, like how she says to Nick, like, so you someone I should know? Are you going to help me? Are you going to get me to the next place in my career?
I remember specifically having a conversation with you where you were supposed to do Eponine and Les Mis, and you were like, I'm going to do Spring Awakening on Broadway. And the timing, like you had to sort of choose your path.
I know everyone told me, don't do Spring Awakening. Les Mis is a sure hit, and we're going to play Eponine. And I was like, I've been doing Spring Awakening since I'm 14. I can't not see this through. And funny enough, I was living with Gideon Glick at the time, and I got the call that I was going to be Eponine. And when I got the call that I was going to play Fanny Brice on Broadway, Gideon just so happened to be walking down the street, saw me on the phone, crying on the phone, knew that I must be getting the call, and snapped a picture. And so he happened to be with me the last 2 Broadway shows. I got to keep him around me a little bit more.
That's great. Gideon Glick, the secret weapon.
Exactly.
I know you had talent from the beginning as a child actress. I mean, you've always sort of had this talent, but did you ever have to have those moments that Fanny has of sort of like, no, hey, look at me, like, pay attention to me? Like, did you have to sort of ever like, hey, Mr. Ziegfeld, Mr. Producer?
Here I am.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was hard. I was doing theater, and I wanted to branch out into television, but there was really no one that ever, I couldn't find where I fit in there.
Yeah.
Luckily it was Ryan who created Rachel Berry, and he molded the character, for me. That's why I fell in love with Barbra Streisand, because I saw someone that looked like me, who acted like me, and who was, funny and awkward, but still beautiful. I think if it wasn't for GLEE and Ryan giving me that chance, I don't know if I would have ever been able to break out into that, part of this business.
Thank you, Ryan Murphy.
Right?
This role, it was your dream role. It was Beanie Feldstein's dream role. It was Rachel Berry's dream role. What is it about? And Tova just said she thinks it is the greatest.
It is.
The greatest role.
It is. It's the greatest role. It has everything. It has the drive. It has the arc. It has the power and the tenacity and the songs and the most incredible arc, as I just said, of a character that you see, you follow her along on this journey, you root for her. And anyone, Beanie, Julie, Barbara, who has climbed the mountain of Mount Everest that is Fanny Brice, is one of the most fearless women on this earth, because it is such a hard role. And I give anyone who has done this so much credit. When I came into the dressing room, and Beanie had left a little something on the mirror that just said brave, and I was like, that's it. You just have to be so brave to play this part, because it's a mountain. But as a performer, I mean, I've been blessed in my life to have played some really incredible strong female characters, Ben Love, Rachel Berry, and to add Fanny to the list is, it's a great, great honor.